All right, ladies, it is time to hopefully start installing what's in that box, which is a 13,000 pound winch on this Jeep. I found this pretty nice rugged ridge bumper, pretty heavy duty, sturdy, stubby bumper, which is absolutely what I wanted, on Facebook Marketplace for $100. It is in great, perfect condition. However, it is not designed for a winch. Combine that with the fact that I put this JL grill on here that sticks out a little bit further on the bottom, and there's really not a lot of room for a winch. I do think that I could be able to cut this out and then weld in a plate underneath it as a winch plate. That way the winch is recessed all the way down to those lights, and it will be sticking up about yay high. First, let's take this bumper off. Pretty easy to do. Take these 8 nuts and bolts off, and it should just pop off there. So guys, here you can see what I'm working with. I've got this universal winch plate that I'm planning on using. My plan is to cut that top off the bumper and make it where this winch plate sits right in on top of those lights like that. You can see it's going to drop the winch down about, what is that, about 4 inches, 3.5 inches. The winch plate's obviously too wide for the frame rail, so I'm going to have to cut it. I guess I need to get the tape measure out and start measuring and see how much this cross member down here will interfere once this is dropped, and where it will be, where everything is in relation to each other. I hoped that I could just bend these wings up and it would slide down the frame rail. Now I was going to bolt this in through the original bolt holes. It's just not going to. All right guys, new plan. I have cut off the wings, and that thing fits perfectly right down on top of the bracket for that cross member. And I believe it even fits at the right height. I believe where it's at right now, if my measurements are right, it's going to fit exactly where that piece of cardboard is right there. All right guys, I'm going to explain what I decided to do with this winch mount as best I can. The Jeep's actually at our other house, so I drew it out for you guys. And if you've seen my other videos, you know I'm not an artist. But this is your basic winch plate, or the winch plate I have. Looking from the front, this is it from the top down. I have cut off these parts right here that have the bolt holes that would normally bolt flat across the frame. Because I don't want it to go flat across the frame, which would put the winch way up here. I want the winch recessed down here. What I'm going to do is I have cut these pieces off so that this piece fits down between the frame. And now I'm going to go buy some what would that be? Angle? Yeah. Mild steel angle, 2x2. And what I'll do is I'll cut 2 pieces that will have a inside profile that looks like this. Of course, the top will look like this with 3 bolt holes. And what I will do is I will weld it where these went, and so it will look like this. That should recess it down in the frame like this. I'll have 3 bolt holes across the top of the frame, and then 1 in the side, all with grade 8 bolts. And when I get done, these bolt holes will actually extend back behind the winch plate. And so the winch plate will look similar to this from a top down standpoint. It was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1 right here, 1 right here going to the side. It'll have 1 extra grade 8 bolt on each side than what it normally would have. I'll start by making these brackets next, which with the angle iron, it's with an angle grinder and a drill press. So I hope you enjoy arts and crafts time with me. All right, let's go try this. Cradle brackets look pretty good, if I do say so myself. I do like them, and I'm not sure they'll work perfect, but the idea, of course, is that go right here, bolt into the frame. The winch plate will be actually welded to these, so I'll have to drill 3 holes in the frame. Got to take the grill back off to drill that back hole. and a hole in the side of the frame. I'll notch this right here to where I can get a ratchet in there, and it will be bolted in with 1/2 inch grade 8 bolts. So 4 on each side. Alright guys, so here's a test fit. I got it just tacked in right now. It looks pretty good. I'm fixing to grind those tacks down and weld a bead across. Weld a bead across on the back side, grind it down a little bit so it still fits nice in the frame rails. Weld will come up here right here on both sides, and then of course there'll be 3 1/2 inch grade 8 bolts here, one in the side on each side, and that should be super strong enough. Now it's going to poke out. This part's going to poke out past the bumper because the bumper fits up pretty flush here. Sticks out about right here, so I'm gonna have to cut the bumper out around that if I want to keep that. I do want to keep this bend. These bends make this plate a lot stronger. All right, so that's where the winch is going to go. That leaves me a little bit of room back here to run some wires. It does tuck down real nice. It doesn't stick way up on the grill. I think my hoop that goes over the grill protector hoop that's on that bumper, I think it will clear pretty easily. I hope anyway. That was the plan. I hope I measured it right to where it would clear. Doesn't block any of the radiator, doesn't block any of the grill really, and yet you can still tell that you have a winch. All right guys, so all the holes are drilled. Go to paint on the raw steel, and we're ready to bolt the plate in. 1/2 inch grade 8, 1 1/2 inch coarse thread bolts. What I'm going to do is I cut out these access points so that I can get a wrench down in there, and I will just start at the back and move forward. These grade 8 lock nuts to go on them, and all I'm going to do is rigged up this little wrench, and that will go back, and I will screw them on. Because the way I have this rigged up, that's why I'm going to go back to front on it. And voila! All right, now that these are locked down, I'm going to go ahead and mount the winch. That way I can start measuring the bumper and see how much I'm going to have to cut out and what I can do with this front piece. As you might be able to see, I don't know how well this shows, but it shows the winch is past these mounting points for the bumper, the actual whole body of the winch. So I have 2 choices. I can either space the bumper out. I really like it tucked in. I want to keep it tucked in, so that's not one of the things I want to do. I can notch out the bumper, which I may have to do. I've definitely got to notch the top part out anyway, so I may just notch it all the way down. That way it still fits up flush, and this sticks out. Bumper would come by right here, so this would stick out just past the bumper. More than likely that's what I'm going to do. I don't necessarily want to do that because I really like the look of the bumper. I don't want that bumper would have to come out a good 2 inches, and I don't want that extra 2 inch overhang. I like everything compact and tucked in. It's the whole reason I designed this and built this. There's plenty of room to come back if I wanted to cut the grill and cut it up over all this. I could then move this back more, but I've already done all this. I'm not doing that. I looked at that option to begin with, didn't like it, so we're going with this option. After what can only be described as using the world's worst box cutter ever made, I did make this little template right here. This will tell me where to cut out here. So the cutout's perfect right here for the winch plate. I'll just pull these bolts out, transfer my template down here, and now I know where to mark to cut out. It's only for the front. The back I'll have to cut out for this over here and over here. Well, that's going to match, but for over here. So we can get this front cut out all the way back. I can start kind of setting it up there and eyeballing it a little bit. So guys, on to about day, I don't know, 89 on this little install. So getting close. I've got the cutouts correct. Final fitment, we'll see that bumper pushed back about, well, that much, about 1.5 inches. And then of course the shackles will bolt to it. That means this will stick out about 1.5 inches. Of course, I'll paint all the bare metal. I'll round off all the edges, and I think it'll look pretty good. I still have to wire it. The battery and the positive are going through the grill perfectly. These little honeycombs are perfect. And then of course the negatives are going where they're going. I haven't hooked any of that up yet. It's extremely tight. It is, I mean, it is tucked about as much as you can tuck one. All right, after a lot of work, we're ready to put the bumper on for good, hopefully. A couple things I did have to do. I did have to grind down these two frame horns. They kind of curve up. I had to grind them down flatter. The nuts on the back side of these bolts that hold the hoop on sticking down too far, so now they slide right over. Holes line up pretty good. They're still obviously these bolts these bolt heads stick up kind of far. Ignore the grade 5 bolts. I somehow didn't buy enough grade 8s. I bought 6 grade 8s. I thought I bought 8 grade 8s, but I'll change those out at some point. But still, 3 grade 8s and 2 grade 5s should be fine. So guys, everything is back together and I'm complete. Good fitment. Everything fits nice and snug. It's recessed about, I don't know, what is that, about 3.5 inches? About 3.5 inches. So it is down below the bar, which is kind of the main goal, but also to keep it down below the grill. It is a ZEAK brand. Just only do the best. That's all we can say about ZEAK. Just only do the best. I don't think whatever Chinese company makes this quite has English figured out yet. But everything is tucked super tight. Power wires going through the grill, one back to the winch, one to the battery, and then all the grounds are right there, and they're pretty hidden. Only thing I need now is a decent thimble. It came with just a standard hook. It didn't really fit this anyway, so I want to get a nice thimble for it. Took a lot longer than anticipated, but I really like the look. I'm able to keep the stock fog lamp locations, which was one of the main things I wanted to do, was keep the stock fog lamp locations and keep the grill pretty clear so you can see the grill, and to get it under the hoop. So all that worked. No extra cutting, no modifications to the frame, except for when I grounded those little horns down, and there you go. So $100 for the bumper, $30 for the winch plate, and then $200 for the winch. And I'll have links to everything below. The plate and the winch were both on warehouse deals, so you'll just have to look up to get them that cheap. I think that's normally like $400 winch, $350, something like that. And the winch plate's normally like 60 or 70 bucks. The bumper is a rugged ridge bumper. It's a real nice solid bumper. It's modular. These are end caps come off and you can get different things for it. It's a nice bumper. Of course, I hacked it up a little bit, but I found it on Facebook Marketplace for $100 bucks. I think it's normally about a $300 bumper. So it's about a $700 setup, but I've got $330 in it. I'll do a review on old ZEAK there after I use them for a little bit. I did test it out. It does spool out, spools in, under power, also freewheeling, and it has a wireless remote that also works perfectly. So everything works so far. So guys, you don't have to settle for the mounts that you can buy for these things. You don't have to necessarily mount the winch way down. You don't have to set it up on top. They do make these type of mounts for it. Of course, they make some bumpers for it that already have that kind of built into. But to get it this tight, you're going to have to do some work. That's a good profile. Guys, if you like this video, please hit like, share, subscribe, and look out for more Jeep videos. We're going on a 4-wheeling trip to Choco Loco in 2 weeks? 3 weeks? 3.5 weeks? 2.5 weeks? Yes, 2.5 weeks. Guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day.